Hello humans, it's just Martine, and today we're going to be talking about my May reading stats. May was a bit of a weird month. I ended up doing some unexpected traveling and such, but overall, per my stats, it was still a pretty good reading month. So we're just gonna jump straight into talking about it. I finished a total of 32 books, which is pretty on par with my average so far for the year. And according to my spreadsheet, I read 9,349 pages. Now, as I always say, this is not entirely accurate because this is the total number of pages of the books that I finished, but I typically finish books that I also started in the month before, so it's kind of skewed. And so Bookly tells me that I read a total of 8,357 pages. So that's on that. And Bookly tells me that I read for a total of 92 hours. My average pages per day was 311.63, and my average page count for the books that I read was 292.16, which is a little lower than I'd like it to be because that means there weren't that many long books in there, but you know, it's gonna be better than what June turns out to be. I promise you that right now. My most read genre was nonfiction. I forget why. Did I just happen to read a lot of nonfiction? I don't know, I guess so. And 20 of my books had representation in it, which is better than the month before, in which I also read 32 books, but only read 17 books with representation, so that's good. And then 9 of those were authors that I've read from before. Let's jump straight into some fun, funky graphs. So here I have them. First, genre. This genre pie looks a lot more even than some of my previous months. I can't tell if that's a good or a bad thing. I think it's just a thing. The largest slices of this pie seem to be contemporary and nonfiction, both hovering right around 20%, so about a fifth of my reading for the month. 9.7% fantasy, which I feel is a bit high for me. Other random stuff. I don't know. It's not particularly grabbing my interest this month, the genre, so I guess it's just like, whatever. Book size. Yeah, here we have it. Here's the problem, 50% small books. Now, my goal right now, which again, June is already ruining, but my goal right now is for my small books in total this year to be under 50% compared to medium, large, and chunky books. This month is walking right the line, 50% small, and then 43.8% medium, and 6.3% large. I will tell you, on these months, like, May, I was actually trying to read larger books and I thought I was doing a good job of that, but then there would be a random book I checked out from the library and I was like, surely this book is regular size, and then it would end up being a small book. And I was like, well, I just picked what I looked interested in. I didn't base it on size. So that's always a bit frustrating. So I think that's the one thing holding me back. It's like every time I'm looking for small books, I can't find them, but every time I'm not looking for small books, I end up accidentally reading them. So that's on that. For star ratings, this was actually a bit of a lower month. About half of it was 3.5 stars or below. Even at least one star, which is, yeah, it's one 1-star book, which is not great. It's not the vibe that we want. Multiple 2.5 star books, again, not exactly what we're looking for. But we did have 4 5-star books. So there's that. And a bunch of 4-star books. A bunch of 3.5. I feel like the 3.5 is, no, it's not higher than in the month before. It's lower than the month before, but still, it's prevalent, you know? It's there. For series versus standalone, this one's pretty whopping 78. Yeah, that's an 8. I can read, but I can't see. 78.1% standalone and 21.9% series, which I feel like is pretty typical, especially since I don't really read many fantasies, and that's where I feel like a lot of the series are. For age range, we do have 71.9% adult, 21.9% children's, and 6.3% YA. Again, I'm expecting YA to go up during the summer in comparison to this. This is still looking really small. Also, I don't know what happened, but this ratio of children's is higher in the month than I was expecting it to be. 7? Why did I read 7 in, because 4 of them are Magic Tree House. What are the other 3? Now I'm looking back at my, oh yeah, that is right. I did read a couple of middle grade books, like Song for a Whale and The Magicians of Elephant County. I guess that did happen. I forgot about that. I genuinely forgot about that. So that's fine. They weren't like as short as Magic Tree House books are. They were substantial middle grade books. So I'll accept it, whatever. But that is interesting to know. And I can tell you right now that this age range graph is going to look wacky for June. wacky. But moving on. For author gender, we have 59.4% women, some men in there, at least one non-binary author, forget what that's from, at least one book with multiple authors, and at least one book where I couldn't find information about the gender of the author, so I put unspecified because we really try not to assume that type of thing around here. But I like this graph. I think it's spread enough. I would obviously like some more non-binary authors. I don't really have a whole list of non-binary authors, so if you have recommendations, I'd love for you to leave them below. For format, largely ebook, 59.4%. And the audiobooks also went up for some reason. 6 audiobooks last month. Could not tell you why. And 21.9 physical books. So 7 physical books, which, yeah, could be worse. Sorry, I feel like I have nothing to say about these graphs. I'm trying my best. We're out here trying our best. For publication date, what's really happening is that things are happening in the Wonderathon Discord, and I keep seeing things pop up in my screen, and I'm like, what's happening? But we're ignoring it for now. We're talking about stats. This is our happy place. For publication date, this is actually a bit different than it usually is. For some reason, I managed to read a lot of last year releases, 31.3%, whereas the month before I'd read 18.8%, so that went up like pretty substantially. For new releases, 15.6%, and then backlist 53.1%. What's happening is that I'm grabbing a lot of books on my library app when they're put on, and those happen to be newer releases. So, because I can tell you the new releases are not from keeping up on NetGalley. I've not been the best about that lately. Oops, yeah, 5 new releases. Guess I just snatched them in time. And lastly, acquired. A lot of library books, per usual, 62.5%. And the other is, of course, my Magic Treehouse books, my 4 Magic Treehouse books for the month because I watched people read them on YouTube. But out of my owned physical books, 5 of them, that's pretty good. It doesn't seem good, but for me, that feels pretty good. I will accept that. And then 3 owned ebooks, which again, doesn't seem great, but for me, I've had months with 0, so like I will absolutely take that. It's hard to sit here and reflect on like my goals for June as a reading month because I'm filming this really late. It's actually already June 12th, and I just know that all of these are going to be so skewed for June because of Wonderathon, so it's like, why even try? But it is interesting to reflect back on what a normal reading month looks like for me again, from where I'm currently sitting in the middle of Wonderathon, in which I am not reading like a normal human being in the slightest. This has been interesting, insightful, fun, but that's it. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below which of these graphs was most interesting to you this month, and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!